we were led into the Sean Davis thing, which was a perfect lead-in to censorship and the great work that he did. Molly Hemingway reported on it. Miranda Devine, of course, all the great reporters who back in the day, Michael Schellenberger, of course, Matt Taibbi. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of great ones who did report on it.
Glenn Greenwald was pretty good.
Glenn Greenwald, yep. And he did testify, but you said Mike Benz went out to where was he? Conservative what? National Conservatism?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where many great speeches have been given, and he was out there. So tell me about what he said, Paul.
So, they asked him to come in and talk about the state of affairs, but he said, I'd like to start with some of the good news because if Trump didn't get in there, the censorship that was put down through CISA would have absolutely obliterated us. The things they got away with, the Biden administration forcing censorship and the algorithms and the hundreds of millions of dollars put into it and the manual labor behind it and all the people who were chasing down dissidents who said something about the vaccines, said something about the stop the steal, said something about, the corruption of government at all levels, you immediately flagged. I would get on my old Facebook page, I would get 400 engagements on a topic. I would have, an endless debate on every subject. And once I started really ranting about COVID, I was done. My page was done. I would get a red box around it with an exclamation point saying dangerous content. So it's pointless. My page is burned. But free speech was under attack, and the fascists and the Marxists have been interbreeding so long, and they're telling us that Trump's a fascist, but he's not. And they're telling us that we're not for free speech. But meanwhile, they were busted with the censorship and with this government shutdown and the money that's been pulled from USAID. We have this wonderful news. Aaron, if you could roll the first clip.
I was asked to talk to you today about AI censorship and the new machinery of control. But that's a dark topic, so I want to start with some light and happy news, which is that on the topic of free speech here in the United States, we are winning. We're actually winning at warp speed in shocking ways at the federal government level. We're actually winning at the federal government level in the United States on so many fronts that once seemed impossible that advocates of censorship are having to come up with new and creative ways to try to stop our momentum. So let me quickly recap the wins from the past 9 months. It was announced in February and it was finally closed on July 1st, just a few months ago. USAID was formally shut down. For folks who've only followed that issue in a cursory manner, you'll appreciate the magnitude of that as we get deeper into this story. But USAID alone spent tens of millions of dollars per year for the past 7 years funding censorship organizations, censorship technology, the AI censorship technologies that we'll cover, censorship institutions, censorship centers at universities, and that is gone, baby, gone. At the State Department, the Global Engagement Center, which was the original gangster of the government censorship world, it was created initially to stop ISIS from spreading terrorist propaganda on Twitter and Facebook, and then after the 2016 election was repurposed to stop Russian propaganda, which meant Trump supporters or Brexit supporters or anyone in the transatlantic community who challenged U.S. foreign policy with respect to maximalism around war or around, frankly, any globalist foreign policy agenda. So the Global Engagement Center, which had $60 million in annual funding and over 50 full-time positions, is gone, baby, gone. It's done.
Nice.
And you think about what they got away with. The amount of censorship that the U.S. was doing on behalf of England, and England was doing on behalf of the U.S. So they couldn't. We weren't doing it. Right. And they had this nice little synergy where anybody who talked about Brexit, well, U.S. companies would be going after anybody. And we see where the censorship is in England.